Yeah, so it's a worrying trend that we're seeing, and that's what we're focusing on this hour. Let's actually bring our viewers that conversation. So the Tax Ombud has released a draft report recommending interventions to help curb the hijacking of SARS e-filing profiles. Fraudsters are exploiting the system weaknesses to change taxpayer banking details and reroute refunds often undetected. Tax practitioners are most often targeted with fraudulent transactions, sometimes reaching up to 100,000 rand. Joining us live to speak on this is Sesana. She is the Acting Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the South African Institute of Taxation. A very good morning to you, Tumetse, and thank you very much for your time. So what are the key vulnerabilities in the SARS e-filing system that are enabling these hijackings, and how are the fraudsters exploiting them?
Thank you very much, Rufio Dimacheloni. And if I may take it just a step back, just for Dan and Masiko there. So e-filing profile hijacking for many, the surge started around, noticeably around 2021 to 2024. It's essentially exactly what you said, Braden, where fraudsters hack your e-filing profile. What they do is they submit fraudulent returns. They generate refunds that are not actually supposed to be generated, and then they circumvent or change the banking details so that that refund is redirected to them and not to you. So you can understand that this, actually robs the fiscus as well as the taxpayer, and that's why it gained a lot of traction from RCBs, from taxpayers, and even the Tax Ombud herself, as well as SARS, have now stepped in to protect the integrity of our tax system. Just to your question, a few of the key vulnerabilities in the SARS e-filing system that have been identified. Some of our members have come to us with this, and taxpayers, obviously, when the Ombud received her authority from the Minister per Section 18 of the TA Act. On the 12th of August, she commenced this particular investigation, and it has come out that weak authentication, poor password practices are amongst others that contribute to the vulnerabilities in the SARS e-filing system that enable these hijackings. I must, before we move to the next question, also give you notice or make you aware that most of the recommendations that the Ombud has put forward, because this has been an ongoing problem, the SARS has already implemented certain measures to mitigate this problem. However, the report is now tabled. The problem still persists, and the public has to comment.
How has the rise in profile hijacking impacted tax practitioners specifically, and what are the real-world consequences for their clients?
So tax practitioners are the conduit between ordinary lay taxpayers as well as the tax authority. As you would have a doctor, a general, or a specialist who helps you decode all those massive medical terms. So tax practitioners, per the Ombud's report, are the most widely affected. About 48.3% of cases are targeted at tax practitioners because of the volumes of taxpayers or clients that tax practitioners handle tax affairs on behalf of. They are predominantly, or tax practitioners are predominantly, a target, because if a hacker can get access to a tax practitioner's profile that has multiple other clients, then the hacker can actually change or circumvent, large volumes of refunds. In fact, the Ombud has released in her report that the single biggest case that has been reported to her of the effects of this e-filing profile hijack is the circumvention or loss of about 5 million rand that was stolen from a specific client, a refund that is rediverted. In fact, one taxpayer even said that, the fraudsters gained access to the profile and submitted or generated fraudulent VAT returns that then generated refunds of 683,000 every month. So March, April, and then she intervened, and in May they spoke to SARS to stop it. So it's very prolific. Tax practitioners and taxpayers are affected, but mostly the segment because of the number of clients that we deal with.
Unfortunately, that is all the time we have for this morning, Kitumetse, but thank you very much for joining us this morning. That was Kitumetse Sesana from the South African Institute of Taxation. Time now to take a quick look at your commodities, your currencies, and of course the price.